Here's how to budget like a millionaire. I couldn't tell you how many times I've seen this in my own life, as well as with other people that I've worked with. You will often see someone get a raise at their job, or maybe they're working less, making more money because of a new job. They feel like they're finally getting ahead, then bam, something goes wrong. Maybe it's an unexpected car repair, maybe it's a medical bill, maybe it's a family member asking for some financial help, and all of a sudden that person that was once doing great financially is back in the hole again. In today's video, we're going over the framework that I have used to become a millionaire, to keep myself there. And if you follow these 7 steps, it'll be the difference between you being one of those people that just keeps finding themselves stuck in the same cycle over and over again versus someone that is able to build wealth. So the first step in budgeting like a millionaire is you need to track your spending. Most people have no idea how much they spend on day-to-day things. They don't know what bills they have coming up. They don't know what subscriptions they're paying for. So you want to take a few weeks and just write down everything that you spend money on. And I don't mean just big purchases. I mean everything from the moment you wake up. Write down every single purchase that you make until the end of the day. Write it down in a notebook, or better yet, use a free service like a spreadsheet or even a budgeting app to just log every single dollar that you spend for a couple weeks. Once you've done that, then at the end of each day, go through the list. Categorize the spending. So food, clothing, entertainment, etc. And if you do this for 2 weeks, it'll paint a clear picture of where your money is actually going. If you're someone that doesn't think you can afford to save money, I guarantee you after doing this exercise, you'll realize that you can. The second thing millionaires do differently when it comes to their budget is they automate everything. What does that mean? Well, it means that as soon as you get paid, money is automatically transferred into different accounts. So maybe you get paid every 2 weeks. As soon as that check hits your account, you set up an automatic transfer for certain bills that you have due. So things like rent or mortgage, utilities, maybe student loans, maybe car payments. Those are the types of things that you should look at automating, and here's why. The biggest reason most people fail with their finances is because they don't have discipline. It's really easy to say, I'm going to pay my bills on time this month. But what happens? Life gets busy. You forget to pay that one bill, and all of a sudden you're behind. You're scrambling, trying to catch up. Next thing you know, your late fees, your penalties, it creates a lot of stress. So by automating everything, you remove the temptation of spending that money on something else because it's already gone. It's already been allocated towards your bills. And now you know exactly what money you have left over to spend on other things. The third thing millionaires do differently with their budget is they have a written plan. Now, I mentioned earlier about tracking your spending and categorizing it. Once you've done that, you can start putting together a plan for the following month. You don't have to go crazy with this. You don't have to make yourself a 50-page document. It's really simple. At the beginning of each month, take out a piece of paper or open up a spreadsheet and figure out how much money you have coming in and how much money you have going out. Now, based on the information you've gathered from tracking your spending the previous month, assign a certain amount of money that you're going to spend in each category. For example, let's say you have $2,000 left over after all your bills are paid. And maybe you determine that you spent $500 on average per month on groceries. You could say, okay, I'm going to allocate $500 this month for groceries. Same thing with gas, clothing, entertainment, etc. Once you've done that, you now have a written plan for the month. You know exactly how much you're going to spend on each category. You can easily see where you're overspending or underspending. It'll also make you more conscious about your spending, because now you have to physically write down how much you're respending instead of just swiping a credit card or debit card, where you can easily justify the purchase because it is not really coming out of your pocket. The fourth thing you need to do if you want to budget like a millionaire is to cut back on variable expenses. Now, variable expenses are things that change from month to month. Things like groceries or gas, those can change depending on how much you drive or how much you eat out. With a budget, you can reduce those expenses. I like to call them variable expenses because they can vary. The best way to do this is to take a look at your spending habits. Pick out the things that you can cut back on without sacrificing your quality of life. Maybe that cutting out eating out to lunch 5 days a week and instead eating lunch at home that you pack yourself. Maybe it's cutting back on how many times you go to the grocery store because you're rebuying too much food and it's going bad. Whatever it is, find those areas where you can cut back without sacrificing your quality of life. And if you do that, you'll be able to reallocate that money towards other things that are more important to you. The fifth thing you need to do is you need to track your net worth. Now, net worth is simply your assets minus your liabilities. So all your assets are things like stocks, bonds, real estate, anything that has value. Your liabilities are things like credit card debt, student loans, car loans, any type of loan that you have. By tracking your net worth each month, it gives you a clear indication of whether or not you're moving forward financially or backwards. So if your net worth is going up, it means you're making progress. You're becoming more wealthy. However, if your net worth is going down, it means you're getting further behind. You're becoming poorer. Now, there's a lot of ways to calculate net worth. I suggest you do it on a monthly basis. All you have to do is write down your assets, write down your liabilities, subtract the two, and then track that number over time. Now, if you're serious about becoming wealthy, you need to track your net worth quarterly and annually as well. This will help you see the progress that you're remaking over longer periods of time, and it'll give you a better indication of whether or not you're on track to reach your financial goals. The sixth thing you need to do is you need to have an emergency fund. This is something that most people don't do. A lot of people don't have any money set aside for emergencies. So if something comes up, like I mentioned earlier in the video, maybe it's a medical bill, maybe it's a car repair. They have to go into debt to cover those expenses. Don't be that person. Having an emergency fund will help you avoid going into debt when unexpected expenses come up. Now, an emergency fund is money that you set aside specifically for emergencies. It's not money that you can touch for anything else. Ideally, you want to have 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses saved in an emergency fund. And where you want to keep this money is in a place where you can easily access it, but also in a place where you won't be tempted to spend it on anything else. So maybe it's in a savings account or a money market account. Just make sure it's somewhere safe and it's FDIC insured. The seventh thing you need to do if you want to budget like a millionaire is to avoid lifestyle inflation. Now, lifestyle inflation is something that most people experience when they get a raise at their job. Remember I talked about that at the beginning of the video? Someone gets a raise, they start making more money, they feel like they're finally getting ahead, then something goes wrong. Lifestyle creep is that something that goes wrong? When you get more money, you want to spend more money. You want to buy nicer things, you want to go out more, you want to upgrade your car, you want to live in a bigger place. All of a sudden, your take-home pay is the same as your original salary, if not less. Don't let this happen to you. When you get a raise, instead of spending that money, you need to save it or invest it. If you do that, you'll be able to reach your financial goals faster. One way to avoid lifestyle inflation is to keep your spending in line with your income. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out the next one.